When that ancient organism turned from a grazer to a predator by congregating its perceptual apparatuses into a lump next to its maw, it was only a matter of time before that became its front. And since physics requires you to push yourself around, since if you pull you can't see where you are going, its locomotion apparatuses ended up at the other back end of its coelum. Thus the blob became worm, and the worm turned into man. Before he was a man never bothered asking himself, what's going on? Well, he couldn't. He had nothing to ask with. When he was a sponge, man would just eat whatever drifted through his filters. As a featherstar, he spread his arms and grabbed it. But as a worm, he had to wriggle towards it, so he had to be able to figure out what it was. Modern man inherits a lot of functionality from his forebears, but as any mother can tell you, discrimination is not one of them. He seems unconcerned about what it is, he just eats it. But this appearance is deceiving. He is actually exploring, learning by experience that some its are good to eat and some not. And he's assisted in this process by Big Daddy, whose own table manners man copies faithfully, since he knew before he was born that if Daddy can eat it, so can he. The innate programming to copy Daddy remains with man as he grows from little to big. But as his lump grows, he develops the capacity to observe that Daddy doesn't always get it right. The tension between the urge to copy and the urge to question spins little man around until he finds a smarter para-daddy whom he can mimic and thereby idolize. Para-daddies are naturally of the same gender as the man that worships them. Whilst female pre-teenies drool over Beetle, their overriding obsession is to be like Barbie. Similarly, cunning patriarchs saw the utility of an imaginary super-patriarch created in their own image as their blunt instrument, so much more comprehensible to the rabble than real models of the actual heavens cast in stone circles. As his lump grew bigger and bigger, man found himself with more and more extra time on his hands from being smarter and smarter at catching its. The devil made work for his idle hands, and man started to introspect as well as extrospect. Bit by bit, his memes grew all kinds of weird and wonderful answers to the logical extension of that basic survival question, namely, well, apart from it, what is going on? Thus, isms were born. The marriage of idolatry and isms was inevitable. And that brings us to where we are now.